So hello everyone, welcome to today's session. In this session, we're going to be talking about mainly UCs. This session is part of a special two-day event. So then tomorrow's session will be held at the same time. And in tomorrow's session, we're planning to go over standardized testing and some other stuff. All right, so this is our agenda. First, we're going to go over UC college prep. And then tomorrow, we're going to go over standardized testing. And these are the rest of the topics we're going to go over later on. All right, so first up is UC College Prep. So the topics we're going to go over are 4 years integrated courses in high school, the factors UCs consider, the UC top 9% myth, whether it's a myth or not, how to calculate UC GPA, and extracurricular activities. All right, so what should you take in high school? So to apply to the UC, you need to complete the A to G course requirements. Now, these are specific course requirements that are laid out by the UCs. So we're going to be going over on them on the next slide. And you need to try to take as many rigorous courses as possible. So demonstrating course rigor is very important because it tells colleges that you're ready for college work. It's good to try to decide your major as early as possible so that you can plan out your high school courses according to your major. So say I want to go to computer science and I'm in ninth grade, but at the time I don't know that I want to go there. So say in ninth grade, I take like a wide range of courses, including science courses, English courses, and say one computer science course. Then in 10th grade, I also take that. Now, even in 11th grade, I still don't know what I'm going to pursue, so I don't take it. But say in 12th grade, I realize that, oh, I want to take computer science. But then in 12th grade, you can probably only take one or two APs about that. So what you want to do is decide what major you're taking as early as possible so you can take the maximum number of courses in that field. This helps show colleges that you're like dedicated and interested in pursuing that major. So don't forget to do that. And also one more note, it's better to get a really good grade in a non-honors or AP course than to earn a horrible score in a weighted class. So say I'm taking English and I get like an A in English. But then say I take AP English and then I earn like a C or a B minus in AP English. Now that is a bad score, and I think it's just better to take a regular course and get an A in that than take a weighted course and get a bad grade in that. All right, so this is the A to G course requirements thing we were talking about. So the A requirement is history or social science. So you need 1 year of world history, cultures, and historical geography, and 2 semesters of US history, and 1 semester of American government or civics. So typically you take the 1 year of world history thing in like 10th grade, and then you take US history in 11th grade and take American government or civics in 12th grade. But then again, this can vary per school and per year of academic plan. The B requirement is English. So you need 4 years of college preparatory English that integrates reading of classic and modern literature, frequent and regular writing, and practice listening and speaking. So in other words, you're going to need to take English classes all 4 years of your high school. The C requirement is mathematics. So you need to take 3 years to graduate, but then 4 years is recommended. Yeah, so the UC recommends 4 years, but they also accept 3 years. But since the UC recommends 4 years, you should just do 4 years. So we're going to do college preparatory academics, algebra 1, geometry, and algebra 2. By the way, that's the order in which you take those classes. Now, part D, laboratory science. So you need 2 years, 1 year of biological science and 1 year of physical science. So say you take bio and then physics, that would work for that. Or bio and chem, that should also work. Okay, E. So you need to take a language other than English or a foreign language. So you need to take 2 years of the same foreign language. Now, it only requires you to take 2 years, but then many of your schools must offer it for like 3 years. So say there's Spanish 1, Spanish 2, and Spanish 3. Now, instead of just taking Spanish 1 and ending at Spanish 2, what you should consider doing is going all the way to Spanish 3 or even AP Spanish, because that demonstrates that you're dedicated to pursuing, it just shows your dedication. And that's what colleges look for, because they want you to stick with their college. They don't want you to drop out mid-semester. So to do that to see your commitment, so it's better to complete the whole language pathway. Okay, F, visual and performing arts. So you need 1 year chosen from dance, drama, theater, music, or visual art. Now, maybe you don't want to take that because you want to take something more engineering related or maybe STEM related. So at American High School, at least, there's this one course that you can take. It's IED, it's Introduction to Engineering and Design. Now that course is mainly engineering, but you also design stuff in it. So it also counts as your F requirement. So if you don't want to specifically take dance, drama, theater, music, or visual art because you think it might be a waste of your courses, you can also look into courses like those. All right, so lastly, we have G, college preparatory elective. So you need 1 year of an additional approved A to F course beyond the minimum required for that subject area. So say you go to laboratory science. So you need 1 year of additional laboratory science that goes beyond the minimum required for the subject area. So say you're taking 3 years of laboratory science, and that would count because 2 years of your lab science satisfy the D requirement, and the last year satisfies the G requirement. So that's how the G thing works. Okay, so regular courses are the easiest courses that students in a high school can take. Honors courses are harder than regular courses. They go more in depth and are faster paced. AP and IB courses are the hardest courses that students can take at a school. They're typically the most work intensive, going to the greatest depth, and are college level. So they're usually as tough as a college level introductory class, even though you may not think it's introductory because you go into so much detail, you do so much work. You must be thinking it's a really advanced class, but no, it's actually a college introductory class level. All right, so UC approved honors courses and AP and IB courses are weighted. So not all honors courses at your school are weighted. To do that, you need to go to the list to the link I put up there. Yeah, so you basically go to institutions, you enter your school name. Can you enter American Highs, for example? All right, so here you can select your school, you can take a look at the course list, and there you go, there are all your things. So can you scroll down a bit?
Yeah, just to add, the ones that are starred are weighted. So all APs would be weighted, but there are also some accelerated pathways that are also weighted like this accelerated algebra through trig and pre-calculus or pre-calc honors, or there's also like chemistry honors or POE honors. All these courses are weighted and they're starred. So the ones that are not starred, they're not weighted courses, so they really don't have any like extra effect here. You see GPA, but these ones do. Oh yeah, go ahead. All right.
Okay, could you scroll down to like English 9 honors? And it's in the English section, which I don't know where it went. All right, so here you can take a look at English 9 honors. Now, American High offers this school. It's an honors course. You can either take English 9 or English 9 honors, but you don't see the star next to it. That means it's not weighted. So the UC doesn't like consider it an actual honors course, so it won't really weight it when calculating GPA. But the advantages of taking in that course over normal English are still here. Because even though the UC does not approve it, the UC is going to look at it and say, oh, that's an honors course. So it's going to be slightly more difficult than the normal course. Now, maybe not slightly, maybe significantly difficult, but you never know what's going on inside an admission officer's mind. So they're going to know that a student taking English 9 honors is like more ready for college than a student taking normal English 9, even though they're not going to weight it in their GPA calculation. So that's just one thing to look out and keep in mind. All right, and lastly, the UCs give the same weighted to honors and AP courses. So AP courses do not get more weighting than honors courses in when the UC calculates your GPA. But APs are known as harder. So what I mean by that is that so say there's student A. Student A is like, oh, honors and AP courses are weighted the same. So maybe instead of taking for APs my junior year, I'll just take 4 honors courses my junior year. It won't affect anything, right? Well, no, that student is kind of wrong because even though both of them are weighted similarly, UCs know that AP courses are harder than honors courses. Say there's another student who's taking all APs and there's one student who's taking all honors courses, and say both of them have a 4.0 GPA, unweighted GPA, as in both of them get A's in all their subjects. So their weighted GPA is going to be the same because they got the same grades, but the student with the APs is going to be viewed better, like more favorably, because that student is taking harder courses. he or she's demonstrating that they're more ready for college by taking APs. So just because they're weighted similarly doesn't mean that you should take honors over APs. So just consider that.
Okay. Yeah. So just keep in mind that you can also self-study APs to get UC credit. I would say like UC Scout can also help you self-study APs, and for that you can get UC credit, and that also counts towards your transcript, and you can get college credit for that. And so all UC colleges accept the UC Scout credits. So whatever courses taken from UC Scout, all UCs accept those credits. And then a thing to note is that community college courses are also rated. So if you take a course at any community college, it can count towards credit in your UC GPA. In weighted GPA, weighted courses are given an additional point. Essentially, what happens is that UCs would, or pretty much any college, would take that GPA from your high school, and they would use their own grading rubric to, or like GPA rubric to weight your GPA. And so if you look at UC's another the school profile, so let me pull it up real quick.
Let me just add something here. So colleges view they view what you've done in the context of your opportunities. So say you took 10 APs. Now the colleges know that you took 10 APs. Now they're going to say, is this student doing something exceptional, or is this just the norm for students at that school? So say a certain number of students take 10 APs, and this student also takes 10 APs. Then the colleges are going to know, oh, this student isn't really, he's the normal student.
Okay.
And
yeah.
There's
go ahead.
Say there's one student who takes like 6 APs, and then the school, say there's one student who takes 2 APs, and then the school offers like 20 APs. And if you take a total of like 3 or 4 APs, that demonstrates that you're not ready for college. Like, even though you are taking 2 APs, there's like 20 other that you could have taken. So that's showing that you're not as ready for college as you could be. Now, for example, say that there's another student whose school only offers like 4 APs, and the student takes all 4 APs. So even though the other student, say, took 5 APs when his school offered 20, and this student's only taking 4 because the school offers 4, it's going to show that the student who's taking 4 because the school offers 4 is better. He's more college prepared, like he's more ready for college because he's taking advantage of all his opportunities. The first student is not. Now, could you scroll up?
Yeah.
Students of all levels are supported at American. Our advanced placement program is extensive. So if you take a look at that line there, American offers like close to 20 APs, and you can see here that they say that their advanced placement program is extensive. So that's an example of that. Now, since the school offers like 20 APs, and if there's a student who's taking only like 3 total APs, now that's going to be viewed badly because you could have taken a lot more than that. So say the student can only take APs during 11th and 12th grade. So the maximum amount of APs a student can theoretically take is like 6 times 2, which is 12 APs. Now, they're going to understand if you don't take all APs 2 years because you may have like other extracurricular commitments. So say you took 9 APs instead of the 12. So that would be viewed pretty favorably. You're taking a lot of APs. That's nice for you. But then say there's another student who's only taking like 3 or 4 APs. Now that won't be viewed favorably because there's like a lot of other APs that you could take. So the point I'm trying to make is they're going to view as many APs, or they're going to view how many APs or honors courses or community college courses you took in the context of how many you could have taken. So that's basically what I'm trying to say. So that's a really important thing to consider. That's how they evaluate your academics and some of your extracurricular achievements. So that's why they use your school profile during admissions. Your school profile also shows your AACT scores, SAT scores, how many students attend college from your school, and other stuff like that. So they'll be able to like see if you're different from your peers and judge you in the context of your opportunities. Okay, that was it.
Yeah. But moving on to the next slide. So for course paths, it's very important to not break your course or your course pathways because it doesn't show like that consistency in your application. So for example, if you took AP Spanish, or not AP Spanish, if you took Spanish 1 in 9th grade and Spanish 2 in 10th, and Spanish 3 in 11th. It shows that continuity. But then, for example, if you took Spanish 2 in 10th and no Spanish in 11th, and then took Spanish 3 in 12th, it shows like that break from your course. So it's always good to go throughout the course and try to complete it. So, for example, if you had Spanish 1 in the 9th grade or your freshman year, you did Spanish 2 in 10th, Spanish 3 in 11th, and EP Spanish in 12th. It shows the continuity of the course as well as shows the rigor that you continue to take the course throughout and like you didn't step back. And it also shows that you completed the course and dealt with the challenge. So something that you should do is like you should go beyond the A through G requirement that the UCs have. And if you have a break in the courses and it doesn't like show that continuity, which is not the best for your college application. And following that, UCs will only like you cannot submit recommendation letters to your UCs, and you can submit them through your UC application. So they will only request these for your supplementary review of your applicants. So let me open this link up. Okay, so we take this quick link. Later on, in the end of the workshops, we'll send all these links in the chat so you can access them. But essentially, if you look here, there's like this article about what UCs ask for in the supplemental essays and if they talk about recommendation letters or not. So this is a really good link. So it answers like a lot of the questions right here. Private colleges do tend to require recommendation letters, just like on that note. Moving forward, factors UCs consider. So some of the most important factors that UCs consider are that do you complete the A through G requirement that Aryan showed? If you did complete that requirement, like did you go above and beyond it? And second thing that they consider is what volunteer service have you done to help your community? What type of impact have you created in the world, and how can this impact be portrayed? Following that, have you done any other opportunities like research or internships or other extracurriculars that stand out? And one thing that they really care about, or not just for UCs, but for any college, is that do you have an outstanding performance in any particular area? So for example, if a student is extremely good at, like, for example, tennis, they've won many championships, they're sponsored or they're on the school varsity team and they won all the prestigious tournaments, that shows that the student is like very good at the sport, and it shows that this particular student is like has this one specialty in them. And so that really wants the universities to take their students in. And for example, like another example would probably be like chemistry. Let's say that this student was in science Olympiad or the chemistry Olympiad, and they've won numerous medals in these chemistry competitions, and they're always like conducting a lot of research, and they've gotten their paper published on chemistry, for example. That shows that this student is mastered in chemistry, and it shows the impact that they've created. So something like that would show like your outstanding performance in any particular subject or area, which is really good to look on your college application. So here's another link. Let me click on it. So this is from University of California themselves, their admissions and how applications are reviewed. So these are like a few key points that they look at in their selection process. So I did mention a few of them: A through G requirements, outstanding performance, approved UC honors or AP classroom courses. If you want to look more, you can look at that link, which we'll send out later. Second thing is the UC top 9 myth. So first and foremost, students that reside in California, in the top 9% of California high schools, graduates are offered a space at UC campus. So if you have to find out if these spaces are available. So the top 9% myth is basically determined through the statewide context. So if you want to do for more information, let me click on this link. Here it is. So here's a little bit more information about the statewide pathway. Basically, what this is that the students in ELC, essentially that's a local path, and ELC students who complete certain requirements but are not admitted into a campus, well, they can apply to be offered admission to another campus if there is space available. And essentially, this means that the top 9% myth isn't really a myth after all. So if you look at the requirements to be an ELC student, here it is. Essentially, you can go through all this. What if you didn't get into any UC and there's space availability and you're an ELC student, you should be able to complete these requirements and you'll potentially get admission into another UC. So following that, there is how to calculate the UC GPA. So a few things you need to know before calculating the UC GPA is that sometimes your high school transcript may not be weighted, but that's okay because when your admissions officers receive the transcript, they can weigh it based on their own scales. So, for example, UC have their own scaling system, and so it's available on their website. And I can show you more links in the speaker notes just in a second. But before that, I just want to add one more thing that sometimes when you take community college courses or UC Scout courses, those credits can be added to your UC GPA. So here are a few links. Again, Aryan already had this A through G requirements, so you can look through this link. Or how to calculate GPA. This is from the UC's system themselves, what they require for California residents and for non-residents, and how to calculate GPA manually. So if you want to take a closer look, someone will send out the link in the chat real soon. And following that, here's the UC GPA calculator. Just essentially what you need to do is just put in your grades for your past semesters. There's another link here, another UC calculator. This might be a little bit easier to access. And here's like a few rules that you can look at. And I think I will be handing it over to Karthik.
Okay, so now the next part of the UC prep section, we'll discuss extracurriculars. The most popular forms of extracurriculars are either school clubs, volunteering or internships like volunteering at a hospital, or just general charity work that gives back to the community. However, other activities like summer college courses, part-time jobs, and even simply helping around the house can be considered as extracurriculars. Of course, especially for like the last part, it has to be some sort of meaningful, it has to have some more sort of meaningful impact in order to be considered actually like worthy enough to put on your college application. But simply put, universities want to know if students are staying active in their community and in their studies outside of school. So you can't just be in your free time just doing nothing, and colleges will not like that. Okay, so but apart from the activity itself, what do colleges want to specifically see? First off, colleges want to see quality rather than quantity. A student that is part of 10 clubs, so it plays a really minor role or a non-role at all, does not look good on the application. Being part of a small number of clubs, but being a vital member in each of them, makes your application look strong. On top of that, being part of the leadership team, like president, vice president, that sort of stuff, in those clubs will boost your application even more because it shows how you're committing to the club and are actually playing an important role in that, as said before. Along with being a leadership shows commitment, being in the club throughout your high school career also shows universities that you're interested in that club and that subject and how you have good work ethic. Finally, your work should have an impact on the community to show colleges that your club is truly meaningful. As I said before, like for example, with the helping around the house, if it's like your parents are both working and you're taking care of a sibling that is very young and can't take care of themselves, that is something truly meaningful. But just saying that you do the dishes is not as impactful as the previous one. Okay, so now in our last slide for the UC prep section, we just wanted to give some reminders about the UC's position on standardized testing as of now during the pandemic. The UCs do not allow SAT and ACT scores to be submitted on your application since they are test blind. The only times that scores will be submitted is after you're accepted by that university and you are picking your courses that are super competitive and that the colleges need to differentiate between students. So
Yeah, to add
now,
on to that, the test blindness is not a result of COVID. It's more because the UCs were like debating whether standardized testing is like fair. So they came to the conclusion that it's not because people from lower income groups, for example, they can't afford expensive standardized test tutoring. So they deemed that it was unfair. So they decided to not put it in there anymore. It's not because of COVID.
so now we believe we'll start with Q&A and then move on if we have to.